So there's a little snippet in God's ministry that I just love, you know, and I really enjoy, you know. So the start of the 3 years, 30 AD, God gets the 12 together, and then he starts his, earthly ministry. Goes out and is preaching to all Judea, Galilee, all of that. Preaching, to small groups of people. Eventually, thousands of people. The miracle of the 5 pieces of loaf and the 2 fish. Thousands of people are there. God's preaching. Now the disciples are with him. And then John 6 comes, and then he's like, if you don't eat my flesh and drink my blood, you got no life in you. And then a bunch of people leave, but then the disciples are still there. And then for 3 years. So think about, if you're a disciple, you're with God, but don't even think of him as terms of God. Just think of he's like a preacher. Think of he's a rabbi. He's a smart Pharisee. He's a scribe. In that era, that age, he's a really good rabbi. And rabbis have students, and so just think of him as just a rabbi. And he's going and he's talking, and you're traveling with him. So think about that. For 3 years, you're traveling with this person. You're eating food with this person. You're talking with this person. You get to know that person a lot. If you have like a family trip, you spend a lot of time with your family, like driving somewhere, on the plane somewhere, in the hotel room with your family. It's a long time you spend with someone, and it builds a lot of, connection. But think about that for like 3 years, And then the Garden of Gethsemane happens. And then all the disciples leave. And Peter's like, think of St. Peter as like the gym bro that's like, oh, I'll never leave you, God. I'm the gym bro. I'll never leave you, God. And then God goes, you're going to deny me 3 fucking times. You know what I mean? Fuck out of here, And then Peter denies God 3 times. And then he runs away and starts crying. There's one person. Now, of course, all the disciples fled, but John the Apostle, there's that name again. I really like John the Apostle. He was the only one that just died of natural causes for some reason. All the others got martyred, but he just died of natural causes. And so they take Jesus into the high priest's house, like his courtyard. A bunch of people are there. Man, fuck this guy. This guy's fucking stupid. Saying all this fucking, he's gonna destroy the temple. You ain't gonna do shit. You know what I mean? They're talking smack, all this, But John the Apostle, he was actually cool with the high priest. All the high priests knew him. They're like, this guy's, he's cool. You know what I mean? He's one of the homies. You know what I mean? And so John the Apostle, he gets to be there. Although he was an apostle of Jesus, they just liked him so much that like he's chill. You know what I mean? So that's just, for me, that's just fucking wild. And then that's why he's also at the foot of the cross. But no one messes with John the Apostle, and this is why, God goes, here's your mother, and then mother, here's your son. Which is just fucking, you know what I mean? Still, But yeah. Not technically, because obviously, John the Apostle, he's not fucking stupid, He's not going to be like, you fucking Pharisees, go fuck yourself. But like, he's not going to make a big scene about it. He's just going to watch what happens. And I'm pretty sure he was adept with the scriptures, so he knew that, And God even predicted it. Yes, I'm gonna die. Then 3 days later, I'm gonna resurrect, and so it's like you can believe God, or you can just be like, no, you know what I mean? You can be like St. Peter, fuck no, and then fucking go reject God 3 times and go run away. Or you can just, believe God. It's very easy. Also very difficult, but very easy. Very interesting. It's just, but the specific part that I want to highlight is that all the disciples abandoned him. But think about that. You've been traveling with this person. You've been eating food with this person. You've been hanging around this person for years. In small groups with this person. Among thousands of people, you've been with this person, And Jesus, he's like this famous guy now, Everyone's talking about him. He's doing miracles. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And then you're a part of like his inner circle. And so there's like a higher prestige for you being a disciple, because like you're the 12. God chose you to be the fucking disciple. And so there's like the high prestige of that coming with that. For years, this isn't like you spend years with this guy. Eating, drinking, traveling with this guy a long time. And then Garden of Gethsemane. And then all the disciples leave. Imagine what that feels like, you know what I mean? Just imagine. Imagine your closest friends. You're the people you know the most. And then they all reject you. And then it's just you know what I mean? And not only that, but everyone knows you're innocent, but it's just like, you know what I mean? Just imagine that feeling, And thank God I got to, feel some semblance of that, It feels amazing, It feels amazing. But like, imagine that, Anyway, God bless.